It's 2026, and with a new year comes new goals. But with time, money, and energy constraints, we just cannot do it all. So, I'm going to show you what we're focusing on in 2026 here on our homestead. We're going to go inside and outside as I take you through everything on our project list and what we'll be focusing on. Hi, it's Caitlin here from the HomeStyle Honey. Happy New Year! I'm so excited to take you today through what we're doing and what we're not doing for 2026. We're going to be doing a lot of focus on outdoor projects, especially since last year was so focused on indoor projects with our house remodels. So we're going to be focusing mostly outdoor, a little indoor. So I will show you that. But first, here's what we're not focusing on for 2026. We are not focusing on a dairy cow. I would love to get a dairy cow, and that is on our wish list for our homestead, but we need infrastructure first. So until that infrastructure is in, we could not get that dairy cow. We are not focusing on a deck or gorgeous outbuildings. While we will focus on some of our more utilitarian outbuildings, some of those like wish lists, make the homestead pretty things, we just cannot do yet this year. You know, when you have so much time and so much money and so much energy, you have to select and pick and choose where you're going to go with your projects. And that is just going to be further down the list. We are also not getting sheep. We want to get sheep. We're not getting sheep because that infrastructure is not there. Now, if something changed and we were able to hustle and get our fencing in place, we would reevaluate that. But with needing to get other pieces of the farm ready, that just is going to get kicked down the priority list. And you don't want to bring on larger animals until the infrastructure is ready for them. Are not going to be starting projects midway and moving on to the next one. So our chicken coop is still not done. I will show you what we're going to be focusing on with it. One of the things I forgot to mention in that video is we are wanting to get our children. We are wanting to get our chickens on a water system that includes some rainwater catchment. So we're hoping to put on, and we're planning to put on some gutters on our chicken coop, and then have a large water rain collection barrel that can then feed into the coop. It'll just cut down on chores. So until we have some of that infrastructure done, we can't get some of the other infrastructure done. Same thing with that pig pen. We're going to do something similar with some rainwater catching. So when we can start to make those projects done early before there are animals, we can get them done, because once there's animals, that takes more of your day-to-day time. The other thing we are not going to be doing is, this isn't really like a homestead project, but we're not taking big vacations because, again, time, energy, and money. So our goal is to really just turn inward, focus on home, and get our homestead up where we want it to be. So we're going to be focusing on that. The other thing is we're not building a greenhouse. My greenhouse got destroyed. You can see that in the wind damage video that I made. I'll link it here below. But that kit was like $400, and I don't want to just waste another $400 knowing it could go, out the door. So eventually I'd love to build a beautiful wooden structured greenhouse. But again, time, energy, and money. So it's going to have to wait. One thing we are going to look into is there are some government programs where you can get some big hoop houses. You have to go through some grants, and you pay a portion of it, but then you can get reimbursed for a lot of it. So there are like $8,000 greenhouses you can end up getting for closer to $1,000. And when I say greenhouse, in this case, I mean a hoop house. And that is part of a program through the USDA to be able to get more people growing small production. So small vegetable and produce production. So that is something we'll consider and look into. If it works out, we will make the time to put it up, but it can take about a year to get all of that in motion. One of the top projects that we're going to be doing on the homestead for 2026 is putting in a garden, and that's going to be going probably up from the 2 rows. So these first 2 rows, they're about 4 feet wide by about 35 feet long. The first two are actually going to stay out of our garden fence and be flowers and just pretty things like that. And then this way we'll go all the way around. This is a vinyl fence, so it's really just more decorative and can't be used to like fence livestock. And we want to not only keep animals out of our garden, but we also want to have some nice aesthetics. So we'll be putting in a fence that goes all the way around this whole area, and that is going to be project number 1. Project number 2 is going to be dismantling our greenhouse after the wind got it. You can check out our video that we go over all the wind damage that happened. We're going to be dismantling this for the garbage, for the dump, but we're going to salvage all of these clear pieces because they're pretty much in pretty good shape. They're clear, just like a poly resin, and I'm going to be making some cold frames out of them. And the goal is they'll just be little cold frames that we can stick on our existing garden bed, or perhaps make some raised beds that these fit on. I haven't fully decided what we're going to do. We're going to repurpose and salvage the plastic, and then the metal, unless we have a plan that we decide we want to use for something, is going to go to the dump. Here's King Henry, our big rooster, and the ladies. One of our other top projects is going to be building a larger secondary run. So when we do the garden fence, either right before it or about the same time, we're going to be putting in a larger fence here around the chicken run. So coming out this way, up here, and then up the back, so that there's significantly more space. I'm not sure on the exact dimensions. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to be about another 15 feet out, and then probably about 30 to 40 feet up here in the pasture, and just really give our chickens a lot more room to spread out and run around and keep them safe from predators. As you can see, we're surrounded by fields, and there are coyotes, and coyotes love chickens. We had one just coming through the field right up here the other day in broad daylight, and then I got woken up a couple nights ago by several of them barking and howling and making all their noises. So getting a larger enclosed area for the chickens will be really nice, just to give them more space to run around. 4 involves our wood pile. This wood pile will probably be here for years to come, but we're going to start taking a dent in it and utilizing it around the chicken coop, in some garden pathways, along some fence lines, and then eventually we'll probably move some up here to this shed, and it'll be on the ground there, so that when there are other animals, there's some nice kind of bedding essentially, and just some nice ground cover for them. Project number, I think this is 5. I'm losing track. As we do the fence here, we'll probably be doing a small fence here, and this is going to be an enclosure for quail, or we'll start on our rabbits. We haven't decided what we're going to do, but there'll be an enclosed area over here, and that way we can just put the animals close by. It makes it easier for chores, and really just kind of keeps everyone in one spot. Project 6 is the pig pen. This is pretty high too on our priority list. I know we can't do everything in 1 year, so we're really trying to just hone in on a few. We would love to get pigs this year, even if it doesn't work out. This pig pen needs some serious help before we can put livestock in there. So we're focusing on a lot of infrastructure this year. You can see, there's all of these broken fences. There haven't been pigs in here for about 20 years. I was the last one to have pigs here, and that was my FFA pigs in high school. These posts right here are pretty solid, but on the side here, those posts are, those fence pieces are really just rotting out and falling apart and in not good shape. So we're gonna be tearing down fence and putting up new boards, and either like hog panels or on top of the wood we'll be putting in tin, hopefully just reusing a lot of this tin. Finally, on our project list for 2026 is going to be finishing our breezeway and our basement. So this green color is going to get continued and carried through on the rest of the snotty pine. And going down our basement here, we will be recarpeting with new outdoor carpeting, pulling off the rest of this thin 70s wood veneer here, and doing some sort of other finish, maybe just like a real thin faux brick or faux stone that we can put on here. And our basement is very dark and dungeon-like right now, and quite frankly, dingy. And we plan to finish this out. This hallway area will get shiplap panels for a shiplap look. We're going to do new flooring throughout. This area is really just a catch-all right now with all of the reno that's going on upstairs. So this will get cleaned out, and we're hoping to have some walls framed out over here, and then that way we can have some more storage here, maybe kind of like a little bar vibe, something like that, where we can do some wine storage and some funky seating. And through this whole way, this will just get finished out. This office, oh, the light bulb's out there, but we have an office here. It needs some major love, so it'll get a refresh, new flooring, fresh paint, and then continuing on, same thing, finish out the walls. And then in this main room, we have an egress window that will go in, and then we'll do some framing around and create a utility room for the furnace. And then this space where the piano is currently will probably either have storage, something like that. It'll be some usable space. And then the rest of this area will get probably paint on the ceilings. We'll either paint these walls or do the same shiplap look that is going elsewhere. I mean, it really already has that, but it's just not going to match exactly. This was going to be, would have been really costly to get a bunch of 1x6s and put them all across the wall. So we have just a shiplap looking panel that we got at Home Depot. So then this will be like a TV hangout room for teenagers or husbands. And so once we can have our upstairs finished, our builder will work on this downstairs, and we'll be getting that window in the walls, and then that way we have this space that we can better utilize. Thanks so much for joining me. I am wishing you an abundant and bountiful new year. Please check out the description below for my freebies. I am focusing on sharing my pantry guide. That is not a freebie, but it's a very, very low cost guide on how to stock your pantry with natural items, and has some great beginner recipes. There's also some other freebies below, including my kombucha guide. So check those out. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of our projects, and I would love to hear your projects and anything else you want to see from us in 2026. All right, thanks, friends. Bye.